we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, and we're doing that through 2025. So when you see a Vietnam veteran, or when you ever see a veteran, please tell them thank you for their service. And if it's a Vietnam veteran, please say welcome home, because we never got that welcome that was so deserved. I'd like to proceed in the program by introducing to you George Ohan, who is a veteran and film producer. And he's going to introduce you to why we're here today at Compton High and explain the purpose of why we're here and what we expect to get out of here. So George, please.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is a very honorable moment for me to be here today. And when Kevin approached me first about being here and setting this up, we had discussed it back and forth, but the most right thing to do, we felt like, was to honor the Vietnam veterans that never got that proper welcoming home. What I would like to explain to everybody, that this is not celebrating a war. This is celebrating the sacrifice that people make. And just take a moment to reflect later on today when everybody's out of this auditorium, and you have a moment just to think for yourselves and to think about that word sacrifice. You might have a parent that sacrifices a lot. You might have a brother, a sister, and we make sacrifices every single day for the things that we do. But a soldier, they kiss their loved ones one time and then they're gone for a year, or they're gone forever. And for the Vietnam veterans, they never got that proper welcoming home, welcome back to America, and we appreciate what you did for us. So I feel very honored that as a U.S. Army veteran that I get to do this here today for our Vietnam veterans. And I feel strongly about spreading the message to our youth and letting the youth understand, you might not be pro-military or something, but there are so many people that do come back, and they are in our communities. They are veterans. Just understand what they've been through and the places they've been and the things that they've done for your freedoms, so you can go to school, so you can have your friends, so you can have Twitter. And basically what we're doing here today is we really want to talk about the STEM program, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We set this whole thing up with live stream, with HD media, with online content. We want to teach you as veterans that when we come back in our communities, we're still here and we're still able to lead, and we're still able to be community leaders within our communities. And we want to teach you that, you can do other things to learn skills, to get jobs, to get internships. And in the filmmaking world, in the entertainment industry, specifically here in Los Angeles at Compton High School, you guys have a very phenomenal HD and video production program with Mr. Reynoso, and we definitely want to add to that. We want to add value to that. So by us teaming up with the veterans, basically continuing the mission in our communities, teaming up with the young high school students, and being able to do something going into the future, we will build a more positive community. So if you guys have questions, if you guys have anything as far as, getting jobs, getting employment in the future, we want you to have mentors, because we're here to teach you, coach you, and mentor you as the leaders that we were prior in the military, and now we're here within your community in Compton High School. So once again, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate the opportunity to be able to come back here and work with you guys. And like I said, I feel very honored that we're going to be able to honor one of our own here today, and an employee of Compton High School, a Vietnam veteran, and I think this is a really great thing that we're doing as well. Sir? Thank you.
Thank you, George. I'm back again. I'd like to move the program along. We have a special person here by the name of Mr. Juan Reynoso. He graduated from Compton High School in 1988. He played football, TV production crew. He's a graduate of Compton College. He graduated from Cal State Dominguez. He has a BA in Theater Arts. He worked in Hollywood as a stuntman, actor, producer. Some of his credits include Kazam, Shaquille O'Neal, Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. He teaches TV and film production here at Compton High School. And there's nowhere else he'd rather be than here with the kids at Compton High. Please join me, Mr. Juan Reynoso.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I'm very, very honored to be here among you gentlemen and ladies. I was born in 1970. I remember growing up in my community, the teenagers that were always playing with us and teaching us how to play baseball and soccer, and one day they disappeared. They were gone. And as a kid, the only thing I knew about the Vietnam War is that it was, I don't know, it seemed, when my mom and dad explained it to us, it was like, oh, he's in Vietnam. I didn't understand what that was. And some of them came back, and some of them didn't. And those that came back, they didn't want to play soccer anymore. And when you're 7 years old, you don't understand that, and that's my experience with the Vietnam War. And as you get older, you understand because you're more mature and you know what's going on. And then you get to high school and a part of you wants to go serve in the military because your father served in the military, and then you get to experience a lot of different things. I learned how to do camera work when I was 12 years old, and I wanted to do all those things. And my goal was, I'll go to the Marines, get out in 4 years, and have enough money saved up to start my own production company. And I thought that was a great goal. And I don't know what happened that I lost track. There were Marine friends that I had that were way older than I was. I never hung out with people my age for whatever reason. And somehow they put me to the side and they did not allow me to go to the military. Before I knew it, I was at Compton College doing the same thing, TV productions, and moving on with my life, going on and acting. But I always understood that military meant service. And service meant whether you could do it abroad or at home, I always knew to give back to my community. And that's why I'm here. It's 1,000,000% true. There's no other place I would rather be teaching than where you grow up. So I've been home for 14 years from wherever I was out there in the world. And I like to give back to my community and keep the spirit going of not forgetting where you came from, and not forgetting that there were people that sacrificed for me to be here, for all of us to be here. As I grew up, I remember Desert Storm and Endure Freedom operation with first George Bush, the dad, and there were friends I went to high school that went, and I never saw them again, whether they came back and went on to other things in the other parts of the country. I never saw them again, but I knew I probably would have been there along with them had I gone on to the military. But again, I'm very, very honored to have you guys here, all of you. Good friend of mine, you come to school, you never know who you're gonna run into in this world, and because of the way I grew up with knowing about the Vietnam War, I just found out a couple of years ago that someone who I've always been on campus joking around and working very closely with is actually a Vietnam veteran, and that changed things in our relationship here on campus. We joke around. He's like a big brother to me, and he knows that. Talking about, of course, Mr. Larry Ventress. We talk every now and then about how it was in Vietnam and his experiences. And my main concern is I want our students to listen to him. I want our students to sit down and talk with him every now and then. And maybe if we start at least once a month where he could sit down and talk with the kids who are interested in knowing what to do when they get out of high school. We did a run yesterday. We interviewed them, and I learned a lot. And every day you want to learn a lot from the elders in your community, on your campus. Those of you who are young, you want to pick their brain, because, like they say, we've been your age, you haven't been ours. And I still feel like a kid, but sometimes I guess I am grown up a little bit. But the reason I feel like a kid and I feel young is because I came back to where I graduated from. So I can't wait to hear from him. I can't wait for our students to hear from him, and I can't wait for this country to hear from him, because he's another example of people who come back to our community and give back. Okay, I don't know what else to say.
You said it. Appreciate it.
But to all of you, thank you for your service, and thank you for keeping us safe for all these years, and I'm eternally grateful.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Joining us is,
Dominique Parnell.
and you are what here at Compton High?
I'm a junior at Compton High. My favorite class is video production, and that's really what I'm here for.
Okay, and what have been your experience so far?
Since I got here, I didn't know how to do anything about cameras and anything, so he taught me how to edit videos, how to set up a tripod, how to film, how to work the audio mixer, how to work the computers, how to do everything I know now.
And you're a senior or you're a junior?
I'm a junior,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, and how many people are in your production class? Any idea?
I'll say it's about like 10 people that's really interested. Other people just come because they got the class. They're not really that interested, but it's like a couple people that really want to do this as a career when they get older.
Okay. So from here, where do you go?
When I leave here, I wanted to go in the military, the Marines, and I also wanted to be in the video industry, the multimedia industry when I get older. But I don't know yet. I'm still thinking.
Well, you're still young. You can think some more.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to share with us?
I like to thank all the veterans for serving the country, and that's about it.
Okay. We appreciate you coming and joining us today. Thank you very much.
All righty.
We have another student who would like to share with us. How are you today?
Good.
And you are?
Ulysses Aguilar.
And you are a junior, senior?
Junior.
Okay. And you're taking the production class?
Yeah, it's my sixth period.
First time?
Second year.
Okay. What happened in the first year?
The first year, I learned how to set up the equipment, how to, what are for nails, what the silks do, how to adjust silks, how to set up tripods, set up cameras, white balance.
So you were part of this production today then, huh?
Yeah, I was going over some questions.
Okay. So what are you doing this semester?
I'm doing a lot of interviews, and we just finished one in the Compton airport.
Okay. So do you enjoyed that experience then?
Yeah, it was fun.
Are you thinking about it as a career?
Yeah, like I want to go into like multimedia, audio engineering, something like
Okay.
that.
So do you do any projects outside of school?
Not really, like interior production, not really. I don't really.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
No, besides, I like to thank the veterans, I know a couple who went to Iraq and all that.
Okay.
And,
Anyone in your
Vietnam.
family?
No, some teachers.
Okay.
That are close. And, Larry's a veteran, Vietnam,
We thank you for joining us today, and good luck in your future.
All right.
So you gonna do the interview?
All right. Uh, Once again, I'm Ulysses Aguilar. I attend Compton Unified School District, and I'm a student in Mr. Reynosa's class, and I'm joined here with Mr. Larry Ventures, who is a veteran for the Vietnam War. And why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about that experience?
Well, it was an experience I never thought I'd have to do. I got out of high school, and when I got out of high school, they had a draft. And it was pulling numbers, lottery numbers, and my number was 14. So I had to go. I never thought I'd end up going to another part of the world to fight somebody else's war, but that's what I had to do.
What branch of the military were you in?
I was in the Air Force.
Is that the part is that the branch who drafted you, or?
No, the Army drafted me, but I kind of threw that in the trash and went and joined the Air Force.
So you figured, if I'm going to go, I might as well pick.
That's what I did.
How many years did you serve in the Force?
20 years in the Air Force.
20 years. And how has that experience, has it affected your life? Or?
Well, it made me a better man. I was young, 18 when I got out of high school. It made me a better man. And after I went in, that was my first assignment. My first assignment was Vietnam. I did 2 years over there, back to back.
So you went like right after high school?
Right after high school.
What do you think you would have done if you wouldn't have gotten drafted, like in those years that you were in the military?
Probably be in jail.
So you can say that the military saved your life?
Yes, it did. Yeah, it did.
And were you ever in contact with, I know there's a chemical that they used in Vietnam called Agent Orange. Were
Yes.
you ever part of it?
Yeah, I was over there, and I already got a claim in on Agent Orange, because it was right where I was.
So how was that, seeing how Agent Orange devastated, Vietnam and all that? How was that an experience for you?
Well, actually, we really didn't know about Agent Orange until like the early 80s. That's when we really found out about it. So that's when every Vietnam veteran started putting in claims on it, because it was like a pesticide that they was using,
And do you think that the Vietnam War is worse or, anywhere near to the Iraq War that's going on?
Well, in my opinion, the Vietnam War was worse. And still to this day, when we came, the Iraq and Iran war, I mean, I understand it was a war. But when we came back, we was labeled as baby killers, okay? But you had to be there, okay? And I'm sorry to say, but you had to get them or they was gonna get you. But that's the way it works.
So do you feel that many veterans of the Vietnam War are actually victims of circumstance?
Pretty much. Yeah, I do.
Do you feel that if the public was more informed about what actually went on in Vietnam, that
Yes, if they were better informed, then they would know.
would you mind sharing us some stories that you can remember about Vietnam, if it's not too hard for you?
Really, the stories when we was out in the field, I give you this one. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I start talking about it, the Vietnamese used to catch our GIs, okay? And over there, everything grows big. And what I'm saying by that, they used to catch GIs, like you seen in that movie where it said they had mutilated some of the bodies. Okay, they would build cages around their head. They had rats over there about this big, okay? And put bamboo shoots under their fingernails, stuff like that. I had some pictures, but I couldn't find them. I was intending to bring them, okay? And when I first got there, I really didn't know nothing. It took me about 4 months to really learn. Okay, then it got to the point, you take a shower, you had to take a shower with your gun on, because a lot of times you couldn't tell the North Vietnamese from the South Vietnamese. So you in the shower with a gun on. You had to do it to protect yourself. And every night they felt like they wanted to hit the base, and that's what they would do.
I know there's a lot of movies based on Vietnam, and I don't know if you've seen any of them, but if you have, do you think that they had an accurate portrayal of how the war was, or was it much more graphic than it actually?
The only movie that I have ever seen that's the closest thing to Vietnam is Saving Private Ryan. When that movie came out, they actually had asked a lot of Vietnam vets not to look at it. That's the closest thing I ever seen. I looked at it anyway because I had to see it, and I think I cried all day. And it's still sitting on my dresser. I ain't looked at it since.
So do you feel that that movie, really, hit home?
Yeah,
close to home
it
to you?
does. Yeah, if you've never seen it, you you need to look at it, and it'll tell you a whole lot.
And do you feel that that kids nowadays aren't really aware of what happened in Vietnam? That they only really know about World War I, World War II, and then they skip right over Vietnam because that's something that both teachers, society, they don't really want to talk about.
And that's it. That's the whole thing right there. They know about the Korean War, and like you say, World War I, World War II. They get to Vietnam, a lot of people don't like to discuss it. Okay, and that's what they'll do. They'll jump over and go right into the Iraq War. See, like I say, it was a war, but to me, it was a big beach party. Okay, that's just my feeling. I've always felt like that.
And would you mind explaining why do you feel it was?
Well, like I said, it's because when we came back from Vietnam, and like I said before, they looked at us like they called us baby killers. You go somewhere, fill out an application. Well, what were you in Vietnam? All of a sudden, everything changed. So, but hey, I had to fight for my country, and I'm real patriotic right now. Okay.
So do you feel that instead of the normal respect and privileges that normal like veterans of other wars get, like when they apply for jobs, the Vietnam veterans were kind of looked down upon as when they got home because all these rumors about.
Yes, exactly. They were. We were looked down on. Yeah. It's getting a little better, but you still got those out there that still, what can I say? Still look down on Vietnam veterans.
Do you again do you feel if people were more informed they would have a greater sense of respect for Vietnam War veterans, because a lot of there's all these talk people saying they killed innocent people, hundreds of innocent, they just killed whoever they saw.
Yeah, if they were more informed, yeah, they would have a different outlook on it.
Do you feel also like other movies besides Saving Private Ryan that didn't portray the movie as it was supposed to? Because I know I've seen some movies where they just soldiers just killing random people and they're
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, the other ones, not that one, because I've seen a lot of them, like Dead Man Walking and Dead Presidents, stuff like that. No, Private Ryan is the closest thing to the Vietnam War.
And coming back home after the war, was that hard for you? Did you have to adjust?
Yeah, I had to adjust all over again because I had got off, and I'll be honest with you, I had got off on drugs and everything else while I was over there. So I had to adjust just to come back.
So, when you came back, did your family notice a change in you? That you were different somehow.
Yeah, they did. They did. It took me about a year to get myself together, and then finally I got myself together.
And how do you think that the things you've learned? Do you share them with students at Compton High if they come up to you, approach you about it?
If they want to know, I'll be more than glad to share it with them as much as I can.
So, someone who's interested in joining the military, a student at Compton High comes up to you, they're asking you how was your experience at war? Is that something you would recommend to someone who's thinking about it?
I would recommend to any high school student to go into it. If you can't find a job, go into the military. Go into the military. You can go in there. You can finish school. Okay, you're there. You're not in these streets. You don't have nothing to worry about.
And do you feel that the military helps a lot of these troubled kids, in, the urban areas or who are affiliated with gangs, leave these gangs, change their life, be more positive after they join?
Yeah, it really does. And for a minute, I don't know if you ever followed it, but for a minute, they was trying to get to the point where they had gang members in there, but they stopped that real quick. They stopped that real quick, but it'll help you change your mind. It really would.
So do you feel that once you join the military, your platoon, or how, as I see a lot of these war movies portray, like there's a huge bond between, soldiers and platoon. Is that real? Do you guys actually, develop that bond? Like,
Oh, yeah, in the military, you'll bond, you'll get that bond. Because when I was in Vietnam, I had a real good friend, and I still don't know where he is to this day, but I had a real good friend that I went through. Like I say, I was over there for 2 years, back to back, 69 and 70. Okay, yeah, but it'll help you bond, it really would.
And do you feel that that these bonds, might affect people, if they see, someone that they've become so close to them die in front of their face, they come back different, changed,
Oh, yes, it do, yeah. I've had, they wasn't as close as me and this guy was, but I've had, other soldiers that I have seen died right there. I've had two that died in my arm. Yeah.
And do you feel that that's why so many soldiers come back with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder?
Exactly. That's the reason why. That's exactly the reason why.
And with Veterans Day approaching, what do you plan on doing for Veterans Day?
Okay, well, I belong to the Veterans of Foreign Wars right here in Compton. I'm the commander over there. And Saturday, we have the Veterans Day Parade in Long Beach. Then Saturday night, we have Veterans Day Ball at the Pulse over here. Monday, we feeding the homeless vets that live in Compton. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of homeless vets in Compton, and we feeding the homeless vets. Okay, we try to do something out of it, but as far as this weekend, that's what's going on this weekend.
And is there anything you'd like to tell anyone out here that I didn't cover that you want to share with us?
Actually, you covered about everything, the only thing I can say is for the students that's in here, I would just love to see them get out and go into the military instead of getting in trouble out on the streets. That's the best thing I can tell them.
So you do feel that the military service can help?
Oh, the military definitely can help you, yes.
And does anyone in the audience have any questions for Larry? If you guys want to ask Larry anything, if you're interested in the military, any questions? Okay. That's it.
How do your skills or discipline or experiences from the military translate even up to this point in your life? If you didn't just lose what you learned in those short couple of years, how are you still able to use those skills until now?
It's like right here on the campus. Everybody here know me. I raise a whole lot of noise, but I've learned just from the DIs in the military. If you ever looked at a military picture, you'll see how they get up in your face. I try not to do that, okay? But like I say, it made me a better person. I'll try to talk to a kid, but then every now and then you got some, they go off on the deep end. That's why I say I would love to see them go into the military. I wish we had a junior ROTC here. I wish we had it here because it's all about discipline. It really is.
Does anyone else have a question?
Yeah, we got
Would you want your daughter or son to join the military in your footsteps as well?
Would I want them to join?
Yes.
Yes, if they wanted to. I wouldn't push them, but if that's what they wanted to do, I'm behind them 100%.
What advice do you have to someone that wants to join the military?
The best advice I can give you is make sure the branch you want to go into, first of all. Just don't go do it just to be doing it. Make sure the branch you want to go in, and just go in and, only thing I can say, and I'm gonna be honest with you, just go in there and do what you have to do. You can advance real quick. You still got opportunities to go to school while you're in the military. You might make an officer, anything. That would be the best thing I can tell you.
What exactly did you do in the Air Force?
I'm sorry, could you say it again?
What exactly did you do in the Air Force?
Well, I was what you call a load master. In other words, we loaded cargo on a plane, but over in Vietnam, you couldn't land at some of the bases. So it was like we had to strap in, open the door, unstrap it, kick it out, and keep going. Because if you land for 2 seconds, it's all over. So that's what I did. It was called a load master. That's what I did in Vietnam on what we call the C-130s, but in the States, I worked on the C-5s, which is a big cargo plane.
My question is, at night, was it really hard for you to sleep? And was there days that you couldn't sleep at all? So it was like 2 days and you couldn't sleep.
At night, yeah. As a matter of fact, all the time, it was hard to sleep. And see, over there, you work 12 hours, so it was real hard to try to sleep, day or night. Believe me, it was.
Were there any injuries you suffered while you were at the war?
Did I suffer any injuries? No, I just got some shrapnel in my leg down here that's been in there from a hand grenade that went off. That's all.
In any circumstance, have you ever, has come to the point where you had to take someone else's money?
Yes, it is, yeah. Yeah, it did. And the thing about it, like I said earlier, unfortunately, it was a kid that I had to do it to, but that's the way the Vietnamese fought over there. What I'm trying to say, you could have 50 people standing around, and they would take a kid and strap hanging eggs on them and tell them when you get, like if I walk up to you, when you get close, just pull this pin. And a child, quite naturally, you see them fidgeting all the time. So it was hard, but I had to do it. I didn't have no choice.
I have another question.
Hmm.
How does experiencing war change how you view everything else?
When I was young, I was running wild, and when I got into the service, it really put a lot of stuff in my head, okay? Because when I first joined, I had thought about being a draft dodger. You might not know what that is, but I thought about not going. But then that's just like the police was going to be, not the police, but the MPs would have been looking for me every day. Okay, and I couldn't go for that. But it really changed me, man. It really has. Yes. You're welcome.
Hello.
Hey, Doc.
My question is, if you were able to identify funds or support for junior ROTC, would you be willing to assist in training those students?
They wouldn't even have to pay me, just the discipline. I'm serious, just the discipline. I could do it after school, just the discipline.
Okay.
Because all schools, not just this one, all schools, you have all ages, okay? In other words, what I mean by that, when I came, I'm 62, when I came up, I was brought up to say yes ma'am and no ma'am. And when I'm around my mama now, I still say yes ma'am or no ma'am, or I get knocked down. Okay, you understand? Some of y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? But it's all about discipline. And you know, like I know, you look around just here, they walk around with their pants down. I wouldn't have that. If you wanted to get into what I'm trying to do, I guarantee you give me 6 months and they'll be straight.
All right, we gonna work on that.
Thank you, Doc.
Hello, my name is Marty Jones. I go to Compton High School and I'm with Ms. Reynoso in the TV production program. And I wanted to know, what does tomorrow's field trip mean to you?
You know what? You're going to think I'm crazy, but I don't know what the field trip is for tomorrow. You know they don't tell us nothing around here.
Well, they're honoring the veterans and
Okay, so I didn't even know that. That's what I'm saying.
They just did a over $40 million renovation at the Bob Hope Patriotic Hall in downtown Los Angeles, and it's going to be a vet center where all the veterans can come in there, get their mental health services, get all their paperwork straight, and have the VFW, the American Legion, and all the different veterans organizations located right there. And we got a really cool program, thanks to Compton High School, Kevin Clark, Los Angeles Film School, everyone that's collaborated. And we're going to take a bunch of the students over there, Mr. Reynoso's class, and they're going to record it the way we're doing here today, and helping out the veterans and making a film and recording everything that's going on. So they're having like a big ceremony, kind of re-honoring and reopening the Bob Hope Patriotic Hall tomorrow. So as far as veterans, we've come a long way from the Vietnam War era to honoring you guys today, and then keeping the ceremonies going on to tomorrow.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know exactly where you're down on Figueroa, right? Yes, sir. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's wonderful. That's a good thing that's going on. I wish I could get down there. I still might. What time is it anyway? I might try to get down there myself. 8. Oh no, we can forget that. But I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it because Patriotic Hall been there a long time. It's been there a long time, and you should really enjoy it. Okay.
Hi, my name is Pablo Merced. I'm with Mr. Reynoso's youth production. My question to you is, what does this job mean to you?
What does this job mean to me? First of all, keeping the kids safe, trying to put them on the right track. And you know, I might not know all you guys' names, but I know some of you. A lot of you got your head on right. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Some, I don't know what it is. I really, like I say, to me, it's discipline. And the reason I say that, and I don't mean to hurt nobody's feeling, because sometimes when they do something, I call the parents, they come up here and I see where they get it from. They get it from the parents. Okay, so it's all about the discipline and trying to keep you safe while the 8 hours that I'm here. That's all I can do.
I'm Vinny Stoyan. How would you define discipline?
How would I define discipline? Just from working, I've been on this campus 9 years. Okay? Discipline, to me, respecting your elders, first of all. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? Anything that you do at home, don't bring it to the campus doing it. Wear your clothes like a human. Pull your pants up on you. I can't stand that. Like I say, I'm old. I have tried to get students, Latinos, blacks, everybody. I said, you need to come and let me tell you where sagging come from. See, what they got in their head is it come from jail. It didn't start in jail, but that's another story. It didn't start there. And if they take in history, they ought to know where sagging actually started. I can't stand that. I guess maybe because I'm old, because when my pants start falling, I pull them up under my arms, okay? But that's what discipline means to me, to respect others. Because you don't respect me, then I know you don't respect your mother and your father. And y'all, some of y'all hear me say it every day, I'm not your mama or your daddy when they get to hollering at me. I'm too old. And you go home and do that to your mom and daddy, but that's what respect means to me. Respect your elders, respect others, period, but especially your elders. Because we being here, you trying to get to where we are now. You see what I'm saying? That's what it means to me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What kind of training do you guys use in Vietnam, like to prepare for war?
What kind of training? Well, when you go in, you got 13 weeks of boot camp. Okay, you have 13 weeks of boot camp. You do, when I say everything, you do everything from getting up at 4:30 in the morning You can't go back to bed until about 6 o'clock that evening. You have the drill sergeants that wake you up, and they not nice. They will wake you up any way it is. You get up, you have to go to school, but you also got your PT. That's every day. Then you go into learning how to use weapons, okay? But you got 13 weeks of hard training before you even ship out to go to another country, anywhere. Even if you're just gonna stay in the States, you still got 13 weeks of hard training. Okay.
Did they like train you guys mentally before your death, or knew that?
Mentally, no. When I went in, no, it wasn't all about, it might be different nowadays, but it wasn't all about the mentally when I went in. Okay, no, it wasn't. It was all about, I gotta watch your back and you watch mine, more or less. It all depends, like I say, going to Vietnam, when you get out there and you're out there in the bush, you bond with each other. You can't sleep. If you're out in the bush, you gotta sit up back to back. Okay, you go to sleep for 4 hours and I'll stay woke. Then I'll go to sleep, because if you mess around and go to sleep, it's all over. That's what it's all about.
I have a question. If any of these students want to get into healthcare or any jobs in the Veterans Affairs, is there anything that you can share with them about how to respect and care for veterans?
Yes, actually, I have what we call a service officer at my post. And if any of them ever get interested in getting into healthcare, I can either set up where they can set up over at my post, and we can have someone from out at the VA hospital come out. They'll be more than glad. More than glad. We do it sometime now for blood drives and stuff. But they, right here on Palmer and Alameda, right around the corner over here, right across the street from the park.
They can talk to you about it.
They can talk to me, and if enough of them want to do it, I can set it up. I can set it up for them to come here if they give me the permission. If not, they can come over to the post. Yeah, that's no problem.
Well, I think we're going to get started with the rest of the program. I think we got 10 more minutes left before school ends.
Oh, yes, we do.
So again, Mr. Richards, I want to thank you for your story and your sharing of all the things you can share with these kids about your experience in Vietnam moving forward. And so we're going to continue the program with Mr. Farrell Childs.
Okay, thank you. All right, baby.
I'm back. We have one additional veteran that we would like to interview shortly. Her name is Chief Warrant Officer 5 retired Mary Carter. Mary, will you join us, please? Speaking to Mary earlier, she informed me that she did 37 years in the military on active duty and in the Army Reserve. Thank you for joining us today. Mary, can you give us some background? Where are you from originally?
Originally, I was born in a little town called Union County, South Carolina.
And you migrated from there to where?
To Pennsylvania.
Okay. So you joined the military in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Can you give us some circumstances behind it? Back then, it wasn't, you had to join the WACS, right? The Women's Army Corps?
Yes, I went into the Women's Army Corps straight out of high school.
And why did you join the military?
Looking for opportunities to develop skills so that I could better my life.
Now, it's my understanding that you spent X number of years as an enlisted person?
Yes, I did.
And then you transitioned to warrant officer?
Yes.
In what particular field?
Human resources.
Now, it's also my understanding that you got mobilized during Operation Enduring Freedom?
Yes, I did.
And for how long was that?
I did 2 years,
Located where?
Vancouver Barracks, Washington.
Is there anything you would like to share with our students here at Compton High about military service or the experiences that you had?
Military service is an honorable undertaking. There are different branches of the military. I just happen to have selected the Army. I think it's a good place to develop skills going forward. It can help you to understand or help you decide the direction that you want to go in life.
Are you from a family of military people?
My father was in the military, was in the Army, and I have 2 brothers that went into the military.
Were they Army as well?
No, one was a Marine and the other was Army.
Now, you're what they call a citizen soldier.
Yes, I am.
And a citizen soldier is someone that's not full-time active duty, but someone that serves in the reserves as a requirement of belonging to the military. And you did that for quite a number of years.
Yes, I did.
So you had to balance civilian life with military life.
I did that.
How was that?
It was very challenging because sometimes your civilian counterpart, the civilian employers don't understand your dedication to doing military service. But it was an obstacle that I felt that was one that I would overcome because of my desire to serve.
Okay, and that's the concurring theme that, you know, when I became a part of the military, that was way back when I got drafted. I didn't volunteer for the military, I got drafted. My draft number was 13. I said, oh no, I know what's going to happen to me. And I ended up in Vietnam, and I'm very fortunate that I went there and I made it back. But for you, it was all volunteer, and everyone that joins the military now, they do it on a voluntary basis because of their commitment and dedication and their willingness to serve. So I really appreciate your service to our country. I know you were deployed for 2 years. That means you had to leave home, and that upset your civilian life, and you had to return to that. How was that adjustment coming back after you had 2 years of military duty?
Well, initially it was challenging coming back from a lot of structure, and as Mr. Ventress said a couple of times, being in a disciplined setting, coming back to a setting where things weren't as you were used to during that couple of years. So it took a while to kind of get acclimated back into the civilian sector.
Anyone from the audience have any questions?
Okay, my question is, okay, what were your obstacles being a woman in the military, like serving in the Vietnam War?
For me, when I went in during the Women's Army Corps, we didn't have the degree of integration that the Army or the military have today. So we didn't have as many obstacles being a woman because we were all women, serving with all women.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, my name is Margaret Jones. I was wondering, is there any advice that you would offer to young women that want to join the military?
Yes, I would suggest, first of all, that you make a firm decision about what career field that you would want to go into. And once you get that done and you speak to your recruiters to go in, that you carry yourselves in a way where you're always going to be respected by your counterparts.
Okay, thank you.
As we said before, November 11th is Veterans Day. It's a time in the country where we acknowledge and recognize and honor our veterans who put their lives on the line so that we can have the freedom that we have here at home. There's several organizations that celebrate and honor veterans during Veterans Day weekend by providing complimentary meals for them, like McCormick and Smith's, Denny's, Olive Garden. Most major restaurants provide complimentary dinners and luncheons for our veterans. There's veterans programs throughout the weekend, whether they're parades or just different events that are honoring our veterans. So I encourage the students of Compton High to continue from this program and recognize and honor all our veterans that we have out there. I'd like to do some shout outs to some veteran friends of mine. There's a friend of mine named Don Hess, Bob Scott, Raymond Benson, Harry Wilson, Ida Tyree Hyde, Belinda Lindsay. Now, if I'm missing anyone, I'm thinking about you. I just don't remember to say your name today. But as we conclude the program, I'd like to leave you with this. It is the veteran and the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the veteran and the soldier, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the veteran and the soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to demonstrate. It is the veteran and the soldier, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the veteran and soldier who salutes the flag, who served under the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who allows the protester to burn the flag. It is the veteran, it is the veteran, it is the veteran. To all veterans out there, I salute you. And we'd like to thank everyone for joining us today on this broadcast as we pay tribute to our veterans. And we encourage you to continue to honor and respect our veterans. And at this point, that concludes our program. We thank you for joining us today. And have a good weekend.
I say thank you for attending, especially Mr. Reynoso's class, because this is just the beginning. We recorded this program, but it was actually, again, available on live stream. It went out live as an exercise. We're going to take the actual recording and make this the basis for a post-production project, where we're going to be taking a group of students tomorrow to the Bob Hope Patriotic Dedication. And then we're also going to look and encourage for people who have cell phone cameras. If you have the ability to take any video or photographs of veterans this weekend, leading up to Monday, we'll have you guys record anything you can that commemorates veterans. This is Veterans Week. Veterans Day is Monday. You guys have that day off. It's Veterans Day. So again, look forward to participating in the production that will wrap up with us presenting this to hopefully the whole student body. Okay, thank you.